Happy New Year's everyone, and what better way to start off the year than with an interesting story about Valve, and a look back on a concept that was actually pretty good but just didn't make it. Over 75% of PC games are purchased through Steam, and rightfully so. It is the best way to purchase games and to play them, and Steam has a great interface and all this great stuff, and Steam is always growing every single year. So Valve saw this potential to move forward and take it to the next step. Believe it or not, the reason that Valve did this decision is based on their disappointment in the handling of the Mac and Windows platforms. During the transition time to Windows 8, some games had issues running. I remember Fallout 3 was a pain in the ass. And for Apple, well, by now everyone should know what's wrong with gaming on a Mac. You can't. And Gabe Newell called this a catastrophe for everyone in the PC space. So Gabe Newell turned to the third option, Linux, and he wanted to make his own hardware. More importantly though, his own OS. In 2012, rumors began circulating that Valve was going to get into the hardware department. This came mostly because of the release of Big Picture, which depicts a console-friendly interface, so you can sit far away and plug your computer into the television. Valve admitted eventually that they had considerations of creating a console, and rumors suggested that it would be called the Steam Box. Gabe Newell commented saying that he wanted to make a single piece of hardware, which at the time was referred to as Bigfoot. He also wanted to partner up with other manufacturers to create the same concept. Gabe Newell also said at LinuxCon in 2013 that he believed that Linux was the future of gaming because it's open source, which is reminiscent of what Android is being open source. But on top of that, Gabe Newell also wanted to enter the mobile aspect of PC hardware with laptops and tablets, codenamed Littlefoot. The first Steam Machine prototype would be titled Piston and showed off at the 2013 Consumer Electronics Show. It ran Xi3's X7A model and had pre-orders ready by March of 2013.
They are actually working with Valve to develop something called the Piston, which is derived from their X7A series. The idea is that this new type of PC here is basically designed for gamers. It's going to work with Steam. It's designed specifically to work with Steam's Big Picture mode. And you know, for those of us used to like these giant clunky PCs that take up so much room, this thing you can actually attach it to the back of a monitor or the back of your TV. I mean, it's that small, you know?
At the end of September of 2013, Valve would officially introduce the Steam Machine. So to sell along with the Steam Machine, Valve also created their own controller called the Steam Controller. This controller actually was able to play mouse and keyboard games only, and it only had one joystick. It had 2 touchpads, and it even had features that the Xbox One Pro controller had. The release date was supposed to be in the middle of 2014, but it was held back until November 10th of 2015. A year later in 2016 though, it was announced that only 500,000 Steam controllers were sold. That doesn't mean that 500,000 Steam machines were sold, because some people may just want the controller so that they could use it for their own PC. And now no one really talks about the Steam Machine. It's barely mentioned. So what exactly happened to the Steam Machine? Valve had a very big issue. Unfortunately though, the Steam Machine had a competitor which made the Steam Machine purposeless, and it's called the Steam Link. You may have heard about it, or maybe you haven't, but the Steam Link basically streams your PC onto the TV, which makes the Steam Machine purposeless if you already have a PC. But there's even a cheaper way to do it for free, if you're able to. You can just take your PC and plug it into your TV directly. Some people even complained about the Steam controller not being what they expected, as some reviews claim it to feel sort of cheap. But I do understand why Valve made the Steam Machine. It seemed like there was a market that wanted to get into PC gaming, but wanted to do it in a cheaper and smaller way that still looked a little bit console friendly. There are some people who have no idea about PCs at all, and they want something that sort of reminds them of a console but plays PC games. I guess you could say a transitional sort of device. Of course, some Steam machines can't really play every game because of the power limitations. It really depends on how much you pay. We'll have to see what the fate of the Steam Machine is in the future. All that I do know is that Steam OS is not gonna go away anytime soon. Valve very much still is on the case. and it seems like they still believe that Linux can be the future. Like for example, this company made Schmack Z, but this is supposed to be a handheld PC that runs on Steam, and that's pretty cool. I actually haven't heard anyone talk about this. It seems like a pretty big competitor to the Switch, even though it's not famous. And yeah, it looks like a Steam controller with a display in the middle. It may not run games as powerfully or have the same attention, but it does show the power of Steam OS. Actually, as of this video, it's supposed to be complete in the first quarter of this year for around $500. So if you don't like the Switch and you want that PC sort of vibe, then you might want to go with this. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
People get worried that maybe the internet service providers are somehow going to strangle innovation and so on, but there's no evidence of that. Consumers are very much in the driver's seat in terms of